Historic Commission. His name is Derek.
No, that's fine. We'll call the Scottsboro work session Monday, December the 2nd to order. The invocation given by Mr. Bailey and the pledge of allegiance given by Mr. Craig Maxter.
Let us pray. Father God, just thank you for the many blessings you give us, Lord. We just thank you for the greatest gift of all, your Son, Jesus Christ. Father, we just lift up the military, Lord, as they serve this nation all around the world today, Lord, as they spend this holiday season away from their families, Lord. We just ask a special blessing on them, Lord. Now, as we enter this meeting time, Lord, just give us wisdom and guidance in all we say and do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to add an item 10 to tonight's work session and do the street department vehicle. We got item number 1, discuss the resolution to award recycling facility bids. Ms. Phillips.
We posted 1 bid, mailed 6 bids, and received 2 bids for the recycle facility Baylor Building Addition and Equipment Shed Foundations. The apparent low bidder is Lambert Inc. at $69,418.28. And I believe Mr. Kimmer and Mr. Olanese is looking to make sure that they have met the requirements.
That's correct.
And then we also bid the recycle building wall cutouts. We posted 1 bid, mailed 8 bids, and received 1 bid. Toller Construction LLC bid $25,490.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Any more of those? Jim, you want to come forward?
On the request for bid, I did not include the requirement for a performance or payment bond. Wasn't sure whether this would be over $50,000 or not. It is over $50,000, and a payment and performance bond is required. And I have a letter from Lambert that the cost is $1,145 for a performance and payment bond, and I request that be part of their contract and approval of the council to include that performance and payment bond. Bidders always, if it's required, they just add that. If it's a pass-through, they just add the cost of that bond to their bid, and that's what this is, and it's the correct amount.
Mr. Ellis is correct in what he's just said. The apparent low bidder would still be approximately $28,000 under the other bidder in this situation. We are in the process of checking with various state licensing and contracting boards to confirm that our interpretation of the law as to the waiver of formalities is correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cameron. Any questions on either one of those?
If we go below bid, looks like with Lambert Inc. and Kohler, it's $94,908. Looks like, what was the original? This is the second time we bid it. What was the original bid? Do we know?
The original bid included the suspended floor in the Baylor building, and it was about 100,000. No, excuse me, it was about 70,000 more than these combined. I think it was 169. Is that right, Stacy?
Yeah, 168.
And we felt like, for the money, we felt like we were better off to rebid this and not do the suspended floor.
So we're not going to do this.
Not at this time. No.
Okay. And we'll rebid that
When the time comes, if that's, we want to get the recycle building up and open and that process started and look at our workflow of material before we decide we want to close that area in.
Anyone else have any questions? We'll put that on next week's agenda. Both of them. Go to item number 2, discuss the ADM invoice. Mayor.
As you know, we, back in the spring and summer, dealt with the pit fire down on West Willow Street. And then we met with ADM and complied with all their requests, and we finally, I guess, Wayne, you could say we finally got the fire out. Originally, because they had complaints, they came up and then they issued a citation of $4,000 to the city. I contested that, submitted all of our documents, how the city, with our in-kind services, equipment rental and everything, had spent over $100,000 dealing with this fire, from the street and fire department personnel and so forth. And so I challenged the $4,000 and they agreed to reduce it to $2,000, but since it was a filed complaint, they didn't need to issue a fine on this, and so we're requesting approval to pay the fine.
The $2,000.
Yes, sir,
Okay.
$2,000.
Anyone have any questions?
So is that, I don't know if you call it a facility, but it is, we are no longer using that, right?
No, sir, we haven't since the day it caught fire. We don't want to.
We've got a different plan going ahead,
Yes,
right?
yes, sir. Nobody wants to go in that direction. Right, Todd?
Is that coming out of excess sales tax? Is that where we're planning on taking it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We had, back in the late spring, early summer, y'all had approved $6,000 towards the expenses of that. I don't know that we used all that $6,000 at the time for the equipment rental, but yes, it would come out of excess sales tax.
You knew who I was looking for. I was going to ask.
From a technical standpoint, it needs to be entered as a civil penalty, it's not a fine.
Civil,
It's in the
whatever you call it.
There it is, Jesus.
This is tax. We'll deal with that later.
Go to item number 3, discuss the remaining percent of the 2019-2020 budget. Ms. Phillips.
The remaining amount that needs to be approved is $2,219,000 and $2,219,292.
Any questions on that? We'll put that on next week's agenda, as well as the ADM invoice as well. Go item number 4, discuss the refund request for overpayment of the use tax. Rick.
We have a request for a refund from a company called MiniMed, RDS, Allen Tax, or Avenue as they're known now. They did an audit on these people and they found where that some of the equipment that they were remitting use tax on was not actually taxable to. It was a part of their exemption, and they have requested that they be refunded $5,147.58.
Any questions on that? If not, we'll put it on next week's agenda as well. Thank you, Rick. Go to item number 5, discuss the inmate meal agreement. Ms. Phillips.
This is just our annual agreement to pay the sheriff for inmate meals. The agreement is the same as last year at $6 per day per inmate.
Any questions on that? We'll move that to next week's agenda as well. Item number 6, discuss the landfill contracts. Mayor?
Okay, the first thing you should have is a contract with Michael Hodges for $2,500. We're requesting this be paid out of bond money. As you know, the city broke out the maintenance building at the landfill at the new cell construction, as we felt like CDG's estimate back in August was $320,000 for a 4,000 square foot maintenance building. We have already received bids and awarded a contract to Jimmy Trailer Construction, and we're going to be getting basically a 5,000 square foot building with an additional 3,000 covered awning. And with that and the upgrade of the rolling door and insulation, we're at $209,749. But now we have to do the build out of that maintenance building because it's going to have a break room, bathrooms, and so we need a PE drawing to put this build out for bid, excuse me, because it's going to have an upstairs above the build-out area for storage, and Mr. Olenese did not want to assume that liability for the design, so we had to get an architect stamp drawing. So that's the $2,500 we're asking to be approved out of the bond money.
Okay. Any questions on that? Not, we'll move that to next week's agenda as well.
Thank you.
Go down number 7. Discuss the sanitation office sewer project.
Stacy,
Okay, I was about to ask if it's yours.
it's out of my league.
The sewer at the office, sanitation office, has been leaching out on the side of our stills, it's ponding, it's on a septic tank and fill runs. And right now we have the tank on twice already, it's full again. The fill lines, I don't know over time if something's ran over them or what, but anyway, they're shot. The best use of money right now would be to put in a lift station, and we'll run that line up to the baler. It's quite a ways, but at least we'll be on city sewer then and get completely off this system. It's what we're proposing to do. The fill lines there's nowhere to put in fill lines, even if you decide to fix it. There's just no room to put them in. Plus, these are on the right of way also. They go down quite a bit, quite a ways on, past the property line already. So that's what we're gonna have to do, is we can either fix the system, like I said, we can propose that, or the one that you're looking at now will be actually tying it back on the city sewer. And I recommend that that's the way you go, where we don't have to deal with these fill lines anymore.
And the total's $92.50.
Yes.
And that's,
And we're gonna do that in-house
Yeah,
too, so
that's-
it should be less than that. That was just the initial cost.
Well, you planning on taking that out of the bond?
That is correct.
You know how much we have left in the bond money?
The new bond issue, we have
Plenty.
plenty of
All right.
that. We haven't spent very much out of there.
Any questions on that? We'll move it to next week's agenda. Thanks, Stacy.
Thank you.
Item number 8 is discuss the Inco software upgrades. Mayor?
yes, as you know, during our budget process, and Rick has talked to council in the past about getting our building department on Tyler and being able to have iPads and do work in the field with our building department. With the Tyler upgrades, we can now implement that. There is a implementation fee. It's not a software fee. It's $8,320 for training and licensing. And then our annual maintenance fee wouldn't go up with it, Rick, based on what you
No,
know.
sir, it's the same as it is now.
But it'll allow our building department to be on the same software with everybody else. We're asking to start that upgrade after the first of the year.
Okay. Any questions on that?
That will be our sales tax, so the cost for that.
And that was $8,300.
$8,320, yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. No questions, then we'll put it on next week's agenda as well. Go to item number 9, discuss the Sportsman's Landing land lease. Mayor.
Okay, there's been quite a bit of discussion, just a little history for everyone. The Sportsman's Landing was a private organization that had a lease agreement through the county, since that was out in the county in the 50s when that was implemented with the county and TVA. Well, the Sportsman's Club has since folded, and they, I guess, basically gave the property or the use of that area back. It's at the end of Clemens Road, back to the county commission, and the county commission has passed a resolution offering it to the city of Scottsboro. I have been in touch with TVA, and they have, I think there's a map attached, but basically what I'm asking is, there is no cost associated with this, but to allow me and Ms. Phillips and Mr. Kinnemer, we have to apply to TVA to have the lease agreement with TVA instead of the county commission, and to start working on those details. That way, it would just be something as we approach the next year that we could apply for some grants through TVA and other sources to improve the boat ramp and a dock, and just give us another water access for fishermen and hunters.
Anybody have any questions? If there's not any questions, then we'll put it on next week's agenda.
Okay.
Go to item number 10, street department vehicle. Mayor, you want to cover this?
Yes, what you passed out on page 4, as you know, you approved additional $20,000 for the street department for Wayne, a vehicle to go with the 26,000 or the 6,000 and something that he already had. Well, when he went to Donahue to talk to them and inquire about the vehicle's no longer available. They're not the Sourcewell dealer anymore. This truck basically is not available. So he obtained more quotes on government contracting, and what we've got is a new quote from Lee Smith, and it's a Ford instead of a Chevrolet. And so we're asking for guidance. One of two things. You've got, basically, he's got 26,500 or 600 available for a truck, and he can pursue a good used truck, or we're asking for 3,000 additional to purchase the truck on government contract and a new truck.
Anybody have any questions or comments? So for an extra $3,000, you can get a brand new.
Above what you've already approved.
I'm making the suggestion that we pay the $3,000 instead of waiting to try to find a used one.
Well, that come out of sales tax.
Yes.
The extra 3.
Right.
30 pounds.
The other has already been allocated.
Any other questions? If not, we'll put that on next week's agenda as well. We'll go to reports. Mayor?
Well, pass this down. Take one, pass it down. As you know, we recently appointed some new members to the Scottsboro Tourism Board to work with Meg and so forth. And I had at a conference met somebody from the University of Alabama Economic Development that focused on outdoor recreation and tourism. And so they came up and met with the tourism board, our local tourism board, and Meg and myself, and we just talked about something besides just, they understand what's going on at Goose Pond Colony with the fishing tournaments and you know, our growth there and with our parks and recreation, baseball, softball, soccer, that sort of thing. But this is a group that looks at it from an economic development perspective, and they focus on what the national trends are, and they look at other possibilities. This is just for information only. We'll be having more discussions and some discussions with the chamber. But it's not just a city of Scottsboro approach, but a county-wide approach to tourism and outdoor recreation. And there is a fee associated with the overall planning, master planning. It's about a 6-month process. But it's just something I want you to be aware of that we're working forward. Not sure exactly how much we'll be asking to go towards this project in the future, but it deals with biking, cycling, equestrian trails, camping, RV parks. They do an analysis countywide of facilities that are available. I'd ask them about hotel rooms for the city of Scottsboro, and unclaimed baggage has been involved, so it's a pretty comprehensive plan that we would be looking at. It's just for information right now. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart? Gary, do you have anything?
No, I just thank everyone for coming. It's good to see you all here.
Sorry, I threw you off guard there. Mike? Yeah.
You know, lately we have reactivated the Historic Commission, and they're already working on a project. And Mr. Roy Light would be the president of this Historic Commission. And what I'd like the council to consider maybe is maybe giving this commission a couple $1,000, because they're going to have some expense, like possibility of doing a little bit of travel to see some things and some postage and so on. So they need a little money. And I would like for them to be able to set up a checking account to handle some of their expenses. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey?
First, I want to thank everybody for coming out this cold night. But I was looking at our excess sales tax and what we would have left after doing what we've done tonight if it was to pass. And I'd like to look at setting aside $25,000 for the Scottsboro Boys Museum. So something to look at. I know they came asking for a lot more than that, but it'd be something that be a good project, and I believe it'd bring a lot of tourism dollars here.
Thank you. Mr. Mashburn?
Just thank everyone for coming out, and remember, we lost 2 great citizens this past week, and B and Kim Bonner and Maisie Aldridge, and of course they wanted the citizens as friends. So remember their families and grieve their loss. That's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you for covering that as well. Thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know we're getting ready to hopefully approve the last portion of our budget. And with that, I know we had some excess sales tax that was left over, and close to $119,000. So I know the budget just brought up $25,000 to be spent towards the Boys Museum, but I'd like to look at us maybe utilizing around $80,000 for a storm shelter on the south side of town. So we can look at that maybe next week as well. But hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I know I had a great Saturday evening. With that, we'll adjourn. Thank you.
I like that.